Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. I'm Eric Shellhouse, Spencer Nusbaum, alongside me of the Athletic, and Kevin Frandsen. Kevin, welcome.
Hi. I just thought I just clicked on a link and it said pop in something and I was like, "Oh, it's you guys."
You-
It's amazing. I didn't
you-
even know your name was Eric.
Eric Shellhouse. And the funniest part is when people see it on
Wow.
socials, a couple of times they've told me they think it's Eric's Hell House. But yeah, Eric Shellhouse, Spencer Nusbaum at the
I actually
Athletic.
like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Here to bring you a good recap of an incredible road trip in the last 2 days in Pittsburgh. We do quickly have to pay dues to the Pirates pitching staff on Wednesday because they were sharp. Let's take a quick look at their box score. Spencer, Kevin, you guys were both there in person, but Spencer, I'm curious what was clicking for them on Wednesday and what'd you see?
Yeah, that may be the sharpest pitching staff I've seen over the course of a day. I don't want to say on my entire time on the beat, but pretty close to it. If they threw a pitch over the heart of the plate, I didn't see it. If they threw a pitch far away from the plate, it was only a few of them. The stuff was nasty. Like when you talk about maybe the old school heads who want to see excellent command and the new school guys who want you pumping 99, I mean, they
Yeah.
were doing both of those things at once. That was really probably up there with the best pitching performances I've ever seen against the Nationals. Franny, you probably have insight there too, but that was one of one, and it wasn't just one guy; it was up and down. They were really carving the Nats up.
Right. You look at Mason Montgomery, who starts it, right? He's a guy that has a lot of stuff, not a lot of command. But then when he add in the command to go with the stuff, it's gross. And then you come in with Carmen Majinski and look, Majinski's a good pitcher. Like he's right now, you're using an opener to get, him through the first part of that lineup. And he goes 16s, 2 hits. And like Spencer said, nothing was down the middle. Nothing was hard of plate. Nothing. And when you're a hitter and you feel like he put you on your heels the entire time, it's what Paul Skeens did the other night, right? Like this. Speaking of the truth of it all, the Pirates, the Pirates pitching's a problem for Major League Baseball. It's a problem, and we saw yesterday with Braxton Ashcraft to like close this whole thing out. It was like the arms that they keep coming at you, not with just velocity, but with great secondary stuff. And Majinski had it going the other night. It was the first game all year that the Nats got shut out, but it was one of those where you're looking at like, why? Well, they quick outs. They didn't
Could
they didn't knock right out any at bats, and that when that doesn't happen, tends to be in a poor result.
100%. When we actually talked to Curtis Mead after the game, game 3 of the series, we asked him like, "Hey, what are those conversations like in the dugout? What sort of adjustments are you making?" He said, we've been making great adjustments all year. We know how to talk to each other. We know, hey, he's starting to put the ball here. He's trying to do this." It's like we can't get out of our approach of looking for a ball over the middle
Right.
and taking pitches on the outside. They're just dotting it up so well that like we can't do anything about that. And that's I'm sure a very frustrating position to be in as a hitter. But what he also said too was like, look, this was a surprise. Whereas I think if you talk to players who were here a year before, you could see them getting some of these stretches.
Mm-hmm.
Here was the first time they've been shut out, and he was like, I didn't expect this to happen. I didn't know that this could
Right.
happen to this team. So it's a big change.
Yeah. And I'm a huge Moneyball guy. Only 2 free passes from the Pirates staff over the course of the game. It's gonna be hard when they're only handing out 2. In this day and
Right.
age, it's rare to see a box score. 0 walks. The Nats pitching turned in a fabulous outing yesterday. The whole team turned in a fantastic outing, an 8-7 win in 10 innings. Uh, I'm just going to go ahead and start recapping it really quickly. An uneventful first 4 innings, but in the top of the fifth, Nats got on the board with 4 runs in 2 bizarre plays. Kevin, what did you see there in person?
Well, we had intentional grounding, 3 runs scored on that. No, look. So what happened to Jake Irvin the other night with CJ up the middle, right? Ground ball up there. He could have gone to second for the out, but it was like that in between where you don't know if your momentum's going to take it. Bebas was pushed over a little bit, so he wasn't able to get there in time to like force it, and he threw one away and run scores. Well, Connor Griffin in this gets one, going towards that bag. If he keeps going and fires it through, He gets the out, but he tried to go for the double play ball. Lau was pushed way over, and so he was going to be late to it. I like the decision by Connor Griffin not to, force it as far as the feed, but he probably just should have gone to first. And here's the deal: like when Nasim went straight into the bag, like straight into it, hard, low, and he clipped him. Kid's not used to getting hit, and he is a monster. That kid is huge. And so for him to get kind of like you just think about blindsided by like a quarterback being blindsided in the pocket, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it looked like. He just spiked it, it went left, and then Nasim like for me was that ends up being Nasim Nuñez in a nutshell for me. Continue to play. Don't let there's no continuing the football theme on it. There's no whistle. Keep playing through. He ends up scoring, and look, it was chalk it up in that kid's brain for Connor Griffin. Like that play has happened now, and probably never going to see that happen to him again.
Yeah. Moving forward, I mean, I don't think you're going to see any linebackers coming across the middle of the field. And Nas isn't
No,
a
he is
huge
a
guy,
linebacker.
but at that speed and at that force and momentum, I don't want to
Right?
see that coming my way either. And then,
No.
as you said, Nas just continuing the play. When I was watching on TV, I just assumed, oh, okay, we scored 2 runs on this. No, we score three. We actually get
Right.
4 on the back pick that allowed Luis to score in the top half. But the Pirates responded him in the bottom half.
The Invisible Man.
Yes, yes. The bottom half, the Pirates came right back and bopped Marcelo Zuna with a home run. Foster Griffin's final line was 5 innings and a third, 4 runs and 7 punch outs. He was dealing yesterday. Spencer, did you notice anything? Moving different? I mean,
Yeah,
he's been fantastic this season. Fantastic.
I don't even wanna say it was different. I mean, that's kind of the Foster we've come accustomed to. It's funny, I was actually on Foul Territory the other day trying to explain where this Nats pitching staff has ground to make up, and it is in the, throwing hard and throwing pitches that are nasty and whatnot. And they were like, "Well, then explain Foster Griffin." And I was like, "It's not the traditional look that you're gonna get from a pitcher, but there's still a lot of movement on those pitches. He's bucketing them in different velocity groups. Every pitch seems to have a different shape, which like you see other guys with 6 pitches, and like some of them kind of are the same pitch or moving really similar. He's just able to dial it up and navigate a lineup in a way that you see from like maybe the U Darvishes of the world and like a handful of guys, but there really aren't too many pitchers that you're going to face like that. If you're a team that has a trajectory machine, all of a sudden you got to prepare for 7 of those before the game, as opposed to 2 or 3 looks. No, it's a really tough look for teams to square up. And I think what you saw is, yeah, maybe towards the end, you'd want to see a different final line. But if you take the season as a whole, I mean, this is exactly what the
Mhm.
Nats would have wanted to get from the guy. And Franny, I'm curious, when you're maybe putting yourself in the shoes of a guy who's facing that, like, how do you even prepare for that before a game?
I like those are the guys that handled, right? Because I feel like they have so many pitches, and it's like you don't worry about much. Like you have 7 pitches to worry about, but is he going to be able? If he can land all 7 of them for strikes in that game, okay, maybe we have to work on that. But uh, I think more or less you wait him out as much as you can. You can't be too quick to get out of the box. Like, and the other thing to me is if you try to pull him, that might be it, right? Because if you're thinking about going the other way, he's going to dart you in with the cutter. If he's going to, you're going to think up the middle, fine. I think you got to just try to go corner shots on him. Because if you can't hit a ball into the left field corner, if you're a right-handed hitter, it's probably a ball.
Then why do you think teams haven't been able to square him up yet?
Because people don't think like that.
They
No,
don't.
seriously,
Honestly, yeah.
just think about it. Like, go back to Trey Turner's third at bat against them in Philly. We saw him cheat completely to it, right? Where did he hit it to? The left field, like just over left field,
Yep.
right? He had to get there, and he had to cheat to go there. And he's one of those guys that you can't just think like stay up the middle, like everyone always used to say, right? You got to hammer him, and he is playing to himself, not to the hitter. I feel like, right? Like he is. I am pitching my game no matter what, and whoever's in the box, I don't care. The four seamer's not a great pitch, but it is when he barely uses it and he uses it in the right moments, right? So like you use that cutter, the sweeper. The fact that the cutter and the sweeper look so similar, for me out of the hand, that's the part where I feel like he can even get more out of.
Right, and you guys even put up that graphic before the game where you have, like, where every pitch is going and what the, like,
What
I don't
the
know, the
average is,
slug
yeah,
or the yeah, yeah, and, like, 4 of those pitches had a 0 on it. Like, that shows you,
yeah,
like, what he's dialing up and
right.
how guys aren't able to maybe adjust to that.
And a big thing is like when you have a lot of those pitches, you have to have the. There's a reason you have all those pitches, right? And not everybody can handle having that amount of a repertoire. Like you talk to Foster now, like it is very evident. He is so good with 7 pitches. Like it's not like overcomplicating things. You know what I mean? Like he is very like, um, this is me. You guys talk about it. It's just me.
100%.
As I was driving to my lunch break yesterday, I was listening to the start of the game. The guy's on the radio go, he's got 7 different pitches. He calls his own pitches. And I'm immediately taking note of that. Wait, 7 different pitches. We got to talk about this tomorrow. Anyways, the Nats answer in the top of the
Thanks for
6th
listening to
inning.
Nationals TV.
I should listen to Nationals TV, but they do a
Yeah.
great job. They do a great job on the radio as well. They're all great. Today's the first broadcast where you all be put on the local market. That'll be exciting.
Oh
For
yeah.
Fox 5, yeah, first against the Giants
So I gotta
later
get a
today.
haircut today.
Yeah, we will preview that Giants series soon. But in the top of the 6th, the Nationals strike back, all with 2 outs. These scrappy Nats, a 2-out double, and then
Ooh.
a 2-out single, and
Ooh.
then a
Don't
2-out
be calling
double
them scrappy
from Joe.
nuts.
Don't call them the scrappy Nats. They're
Yeah.
authoritative. Bottom of the 6th, we turn over to the bullpen. We see the highs and the lows of defense. In my opinion, that play from Nas to cut off the run at the plate, um, textbook, Franny, textbook.
I It's hard to describe this kid, man. He is he's a wizard. He is so damn good. Uh his cadence, right? Like it is I think that's what people, talk a little bit about, but like his cadence at shortstop at second base, it's uncanny, man. And his ability to think ahead of things, where he puts himself, his body positioning, like he was never out of control on that backhand short hop staying through it. Right? Like that's one where you see guys play through it and kind of stumble a little bit, right? Because the moment catches up with it, but it's like there you see being prepped before, knowing what you're gonna do, thinking about I'm not gonna get a routine ground ball, I'm gonna get a bad hop, right? And he it's like, okay, play catch. And where did he throw the ball? Not to home, but just to the right side of home so that Caber could get it and put down a great tag. Which I think is another thing, right? I mean, Cabert's been awesome behind the plate, but that play in itself, he's not been great at tagging in the last few years, right? And a lot of it is not all of it is on him, right? It's about positioning of ball where it's being thrown and what Nas did to just the right side of of home plate that allowed him just to drop down instead of like reaching around and spinning around to do it. I thought that was a huge play, but man, just watching that kid, he makes you smile, dude.
He does, and
Yeah.
it it
I
it
was,
it reminds me of
well,
having
I was just
SC at second back in the day because of the arm he has. But continue, Spencer. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I was talking to him, I think during one of the exhibition games before the season because I wanted to do a story that was more visual look of like how he prepares for the game and how he is able to make reads like that, in the heat of the moment. And what he told me is like that's something we talk so much about the Nationals doing early work this year, and I think that's a huge thing. He looks like he's been doing it his whole life because he has been doing it his whole life. Like this is a
Right.
read he's made before. This is the preparation he's made before. He honestly doesn't even need to do, extra early work on the defensive side these days just because he's spent like from the moment he touched a baseball. This has been his entire processing is just figuring out how to make plays like that, how to put himself in uncomfortable positions. And you see it on the field. And I'm sure to a certain extent you see it on the broadcast, but when you see off the bat the way that he moves and how quickly he gets to baseballs, I mean, it really is such a joy to watch. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he has been phenomenal there on the right side, on the left side of the diamond, even in outfield last season, if you can remember, wherever they put him in the field, he has been incredible. If we move ahead to the top of the 7th inning, we hope Jacob Young is okay. I don't know how he continued to stay in this game, but the Pirates issued two-strike hit by pitches in this game. The Nationals let the Pirates kind of play their game. Great hustle from Dalen, legging that ball out. My friend said, "Oh, he's maybe not." Listen, he hustled. When he saw, hey, there's gonna be a play at second here, boom, takes off, great hustle, and I think kind of attests to kind of the whole game that the entire team is playing right now. Hard 90, hard 180, run until they tag you. So the Nationals take the lead there in the seventh inning. We get the seventh and eighth from Varland and Perez. They look really sharp. Sinel, 2 strikeouts last night. He's looked a lot better in his last few outings. Franny, I'm curious, is there anything you've noticed that has looked different?
On who?
Sinel. Perez?
It's CNL.
CNL? Oh,
Put some
well,
respect on the name.
I do. I've been reading too many baseball cards, not paying enough
No,
attention to
so
broadcast.
man, he's a different one because you look at it and you're like, the stuff's there, right? How many times do you have a guy that has a slurve and a curveball, right? Like they morph into one another. And then yesterday we saw a couple that pumped in there at 97, right? Like at 98, and you're like, we haven't seen that a whole lot this year. It's the proof that it is April, right? And it's still, these guys are building up, and it's not like these guys had like a ton of innings in spring training, and I do think that's a part of like the slow start too. It's not like a normal build, I feel like, but he's being put in these situations. We're starting to see like resilience from him too, right? Like where there's been a couple bad outings, and it's like, all right, whatever. Blake Butera having the belief in him and to put him in there, and yeah, I liked I liked what we saw yesterday. Yesterday was efficient. Yesterday was, I think, more self-correctable in the moments. Right when he threw one that was off, like he found a way to get right back in and trust that he was going to go do it. Like with the back-to-back slurs, yank one and then just go and do it again. And to me, uh, seeing him like that, I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah,
Yay.
and
Yeah.
when you look at, for example, like what he did with Baltimore in the past, that was a season that did not go right for him.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy can really handle that one of two ways. It's I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to figure out how to adjust. Not even just between outings, but mid outing. The other way it can go is you can get in your head and you can say, you can try to give yourself all these different cues, go one
Right.
place, go another, and just kind of mentally not be able to lock in the way that you need to if you're pitching in the seventh, eighth, ninth inning, or frankly, just if you're pitching in big league baseball games. So he's someone where I think if you talk to him and figure out what he's been able to do just within starts, it really is like calm himself down, figure it out. Is every outing going to be perfect? No. Do we know that he's figured it all out? Also, no. It's April 21st or whatever the date is. Like, we don't know exactly what he's going to be yet. But for him to be able to figure it out this quickly after, I think it was a week ago that we were talking to him and he was tipping pitches and he
Yeah.
didn't
Well,
have command
he
of
was
any
throwing
of his
everything down the
pitches.
middle. He was throwing, like, that's the
Yes.
thing, is that like to the tipping part, like it wasn't one. It was when you're throwing it down the middle. Let's stop with the excuses for guys on that, right? They got to take
That's
ownership, like
true.
throwing the middle,
That's true, but on the other hand, that is another thing he has to figure out between starts. That's another
right?
thing he has to think
Yeah.
about. And so, yeah, command is obviously the big thing, but when you have all these different items on your plate and then within a week you look like a completely different pitcher, part of that is the nature of being a reliever. But part of that really shows me that, hey, he's starting to turn over a new leaf. And that's, I
Yep.
mean, for a team that hasn't had a reliable 7th, 8th, ninth
Oof.
yet, yeah, you're going to get your chances if you're able to turn it around in a few games.
Yeah. I want to extend a quick apology to our crafty lefty down there in the bullpen on the pronunciation. I just got to pick my head up from these baseball cards and maybe tune in to our incredible broadcast that we get of
But
Nationals
I was
games because
like,
I'm just
who?
flipping through cards and I'm just like, okay, okay, I think I got it. And I just move on to the next card. I got to pay attention. Before we get into the juicy stuff, the ninth inning, the extra innings, a quick word from today's sponsor.
Kratz, the world has a cord problem, wires everywhere. It's 2026, and it is time to get a
Ridge Wallet 5-in-1. It's not a wallet, it's a charger. Look at this thing. It sticks to your phone. You push the button, it charges your phone while you can charge 2 different items at the same time. Oh, and don't forget, while it's charging, you got a little lean-to, John. That'll help it sit right there. Appreciate your Ridge Wallet. This is so nice.
Which is great for me if I'm at the airport and I'm watching a game. I can charge 5 devices and then I can just watch something on the phone. Of course, they still have the wallets that are money too, and we know the code. It's nice and simple. It's FOUL, FOUL. One thing to pack, 5 ways to power. You can find Ridge's power bank at Best Buy, or our listeners can get 10% off at ridge.com by using code FOUL at checkout. Head to ridge.com, use code FOUL, and you're all set. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support FT and tell them we sent you.
In the 9th inning, there was a play that Kevin Frandsen, I'm dying to hear your thoughts on. Instant replay at second base. You break it down frame by frame. I think this could have gone either way, and the call on the field stands. I'm just curious what your true thoughts are.
This is stolen base one.
Yeah. I think they missed. I think we missed it. I think that frame
It's like
had him
so.
off.
Okay, so this goes back to the Jose Lobaton in what 17?
Yes.
Right. This is not why replay's there for.
Exactly.
Right, like that like little itty bitty. So did they get it right? Yeah, I think they did. Did they get it wrong? Yeah, I think they did. I think it was one of those, right? Like you're never gonna get a full.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you can't call that guy out there at second base and have that be the way that it gets overturned and influences the game there for the Pirates. You can't say, oh, okay, we're going to pluck that runner up. Like totally not implodes their rally of their inning, but takes it away from them. And you're right. We're not going to hold this up for 5, 10, 15 minutes over the biggest play of the game.
The frame where we got it, where his foot clipped CJ's and it like stayed on it. I was like, oh,
that could be the one. And then they came back.
Then I always go like, that one is the ball nicking the strike zone on the ABS, right? Like that's not why we're doing the ABS. Isn't for the one that nicks it. I feel like I've said it on every broadcast, which is that shows you how good these umpires are. Like if it's just off or just on and it's getting challenged and overturned or whatever, that shouldn't be a miss on them. Right. So the same thing goes on this replay. That's too close. Like that's why the call on the field matters and them being in the right spots matters. As you know, we all know. I feel like there's been some weird ones in the past.
It's
just
like
saying.
We all know. Any baseball fan knows Ricky Henderson's stolen base record will not be touched, and that's
never.
Not to disrespect his speed, but that too many guys will get overturned on outs now at second base. But it's really the play with the bases loaded, 2 outs. It's a tie game, and a little infield dribbler ties it up. But I'm curious as to what both of you saw with O'Neill Cruz rounding third base and not going home there, and the runner's trying to wave him, and everyone's saying, "Hey, we could score here," because he just simply did not seem to realize that the play was still going.
Well, Tony Beasley didn't go down the line and give him any look. He just assumed that he was going to go. So that's number one. O'Neill Cruz just was looking back the entire time and didn't go. And that's poor base running. That's poor coaching on it.
Poor coaching, right? Yeah.
Because I think it's both. It's both because it's on the player to give the coach a look. And if Clayton Beater doesn't like clip it, it's an out, game over, right? Like that's just how it is. Because not like that spin that comes off a glove sucks. Like no matter what, you think you're like right in line, it goes sideways. You have no idea. But for CJ, watching him dive back like past it, right? Because he was the backup on this, and then kind of get up awkwardly and still find a way to get the ball and get it home. Like shout out to him, man. He's been dialed in defensively for the most part, and it's been like that play in itself showed it. He wasn't in the play, but he was, and he found a way to get back up, scramble, and get it in.
100%. And you even think about like what the coaching staff has preached this year on the defensive side. So much of it is the pre-pitch and making sure that at the end of games, like you're mentally exhausted because you're in every single play. CJ again has it been a perfect defensive season. I don't think CJ himself would say that that's the case. But is it better? Yes. And it's exactly because of plays like that, like not giving up on anything, not checking out of any sort of play. He's really been, I don't want to say a completely different defensive player this year, but you just see it in moments like that where it's, hey, if a team wants a franchise shortstop, that's what you want your franchise shortstop doing. Is he going to make every single play? No. Is he going to make every single routine play? No. But is he going to be mentally checked in for every single
Mentally, he
one?
is
That's
always in.
exactly
He
what
has
you
been
need.
in all year.
Yes.
Yep. He's
All
so
year.
freaking dialed in. I dropped my head on that play watching on TV because I just assumed, I said, all right, well, we'll cruise on second, that kind of speed. And as soon as it hits Beater's glove, there just wasn't going to be a play. He'd be flying around, but he wasn't. And then we get free baseball in the top of the 10th. Why? 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 Franny, you called it the unintentional intentional on TV. Spencer, you had this great tweet, but why pitch to James Wood here in the 10th inning when you know that he's just going to deliver a base hit through into the right side to put the Nationals back on top? He is so locked in right now. They're all locked in, but James, it's clicking the last week. Franny, what is it?
I don't know. Like when he got the hit on Evan Sisk, the lefty on the sweeper, and that was his first. It seemed like it forever. So it was only his second hit on spin this year. I said in the moment, I was like, you wonder what this does for him mentally as far as spin, right? I mean, your teams are hadn't really tried to do it against them until the Pirates, and the Pirates just really exposed go sweep, sweep, sweep the entire time. Well, they got to Dennis Santana and they thought, okay, we got a guy here we think that can, what I think they were 0 for 16 against him. Lefties were. And it's like, okay, but they weren't James, right? And we saw James hit 3 balls to the track in the last 2 days or 3 days that were 106, 104, and 103 off the bat. They were fly balls that he just missed. Like there were 3 balls that you wonder how far he would have really hit it had he not missed them, right? And so it like for me, the moment Nas is out, like I'm going, James, why are you walking to the plate? Like I was saying that, but then I also said, hey Dan, I think Don Kelly's like us. He's a fan of James Wood.
One
Wants to
of
see him hit.
us. One of us. I love that call.
Yeah. So I think we saw something get ahead and trusting a guy too much over using your eyes and understanding that guy in front of you and James Wood, pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
100%. And even like if you are going to throw him those first 2 pitches, like why are you throwing him anything over the heart of the plate? Just keep doing that. Don't try to get back into account by doing, like, there's a reason in that graphic for those who are watching visually, like you can't see the other pitches because they weren't
Right.
anywhere near the strike zone. Just keep doing that, and yeah, if he gives James something right down the middle, he will.
I mean, it's 2
he will
decisions.
do something with
2
it.
decisions that won those games for, I feel like, the Nats in that series.
Yeah.
Right. Pinch hitting for Brandon Lau in game 2 in the as what that was the 7th inning,
6th or 7th.
If I couldn't even remember the time because I was like, it was way too early.
It was early. It might have been the 5th
because he was going to come back around, right?
Yeah.
Like he was going to come back around, and sure enough, that's his spot dead
because he was guaranteed in that bat.
Right. And so for me, that those 2 decisions of taking him out and then pitching to James, obviously costly for the Pirates, and ones I feel like they'll look back on, maybe in a couple months, going like, maybe
you live and you learn. But Spencer, you were just chatting like when I look at this graphic, like you said, there's a reason you didn't include pitches 1 and 2 because they had no intentions of pitching to him, and then this one just missed. It missed bad, and they paid the price. And then we get to the 9th inning. I lost my 10th inning notes here really quickly. A leadoff single for Connor Joe. Runners at the corners with nobody out, but then a big punch out of Reynolds and a ground ball back up the middle. CJ steps on the bag. The game is over. The Nationals win. Sorry, they don't win the series. They split the series 2-2. They win the road trip big time, 5-2. Let's just take a quick look at the Nationals box score from Thursday. Franny, this is a collective effort, but who do you want to give your flowers to?
Orlando Rebalta, man. Like that guy coming up in the last couple of days, and I don't know what the plan was for him. Was it to be here for the one game on Monday, or was it did he earn a spot to come in this game on Thursday in extra innings? It just him controlling the run game is what set him apart, right? Like you have an opportunity for Connor Griffin at first and third to steal. This kid flies, and he was like a one. I think he was a 1-1-5, a 1-2 to the plate the entire time. Didn't allow him to breathe. Changed his looks, changed all that. Didn't let the moment of the tie and run being on third base change anything. And I just think that that was pretty gnarly what he had to experience right there in that situation. And then I will say it, I called in the moment. Curtis Mead threw that ball into the stands, and I think he should be fined.
100%. You can't be doing that. Even I know who didn't play in the big leagues. I think, yeah, that's a bad one. I do want to
Don't throw
actually,
the save ball away,
yeah,
especially number
I want
one.
to I want to bounce off that Rebalta comment for a moment, because I know the Pirates media talked to him after the game, or talked to excuse me, Pirates manager after the game and asked him like, "Hey, why are you not having Connor Griffin run on that? Like, he's one of the fastest guys in baseball. Why are we not doing that?" It's like because Rebalta goes, 1-1-5, 1-2. Like you can't run on a guy like that, and even beyond that. I remember last year when we had asked when Rebalta got sent down for the final time towards the end of the season, asked Cairo like what could he have done differently when he was up here, and he said he's just a guy that doesn't have the confidence that you need to pitch in the big leagues, and which is not something you'll hear a manager say very often. So when we talked to Rebalta the other day when he got called back up, he said, "Yeah, like I just got to learn like my stuff will play in the big leagues. I am confident enough to know that like if I throw it in the right spots, they're not going to be able to hit it." You saw in that final at bat, it was every single pitch was on the edge of the zone, or there was maybe one that was more of a chase pitch. And they couldn't do anything with it. It was, foul ball, um, whiff, foul ball, and then that ball in play. Like that's exactly who Orlando Rebalta needs to be, is kind of that north south guy who's touching those parts of the plate. And yeah,
Right.
it was unbelievable to watch him in that final at bat.
Spencer, you think between him and Gus Varland, like what they have shown in the last couple of days, I'm not saying closers or anything, but what they have done has really elevated what your thoughts on the bullpen are? Just those two guys in itself? You could throw CNL
Yeah,
in there.
yeah. Well, again, I would even think about the righties because like this team really loves to play those left on left matchups, and I think that they're gonna potentially cycle through some options and figure out, hey, is PJ pulling our guy? But when you have those right-handed arms who can get guys out from both sides of the plate, yeah, I think that absolutely changes what I think about this bullpen. Now, again, we're in mid to late April.
Are
It's
we?
too early to make any sort of yeah. I think so. I got to check the calendar. I gotta. It's too early to make some definitive conclusions, but I want to say Gus in particular, the way that he's been throwing the baseball, and the way that he's been doing it in leverage innings, which he hasn't been asked to do before. He's someone who I think if like Blake said the other day, like we need some guys to throw the seventh, eighth, and ninth. If you put a few good outings in a row together, if like Varland, you're able to like have that ride on fastball, have that slider, um, kind of be able to get guys out, like that is enough to be able to put you in those spots. We'll see how things change, but yeah, he's a guy I'm really looking close at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to give props to Clayton really quickly because his ability to bear back down there and get one more out made the difference yesterday and got us the
100%.
win. When I was watching on
100%.
TV, I couldn't keep it together. I can't recall a game that's been so exciting to watch all season as a Nationals fan. So looking
Yeah, he's
ahead, the
going to be good.
Giant. Oh yeah, Giants
Clay will be
coming to
good.
town tonight. I'll see you guys at the ballpark there later tonight.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what the matchup is. Franny, can you give us some preview as the Giants come to town? Your former. I mean, this is a little. Who are you rooting for tonight?
Team that pays me.
Right.
Yeah, it was like almost 20 years ago to today. No, we're almost there. Like when I made my debut with the Giants. I'm not gonna say underperforming because I didn't know what to expect from them this year, but they got Logan Webb going, and with Logan going at any point in time, he's an ace. He's a top 5 pitcher, top 3 pitcher for me personally. I know that sounds weird, but I just love his demeanor, his makeup, and everything. It's gonna be a tough task. His changeup got going again against the Orioles last time. He left one that might have been a full ball on the plate. Like all the other ones that he threw were like corner shots, like they're just like the chef's kiss. So can you get him over the heart? The sweeper is going to be a big deal for him today because I feel like they saw what it could do to the Nats in some things because the fastball is something they can handle, which is awesome. Trust me, like I'm all in on that. But you got to be able to lay off some of the spin and get him over the heart, and it's rare to do for him. But Look, it's an offense that hasn't gone yet, and at some point they will click. And it's a veteran-laden team. It just scares me sometimes with the staff that we haven't seen consistently to lay off the middle part of the plate or giving up free 90s and allowing that damage to happen. And so we'll see.
Yeah, the mistakes, if any, from Webb tonight across the middle of the plate will be far and few in between, if that's the right expression. I'm not quite sure. If mistakes happen
I like
tonight,
that one. I'll use that one.
if 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 there's one over the plate tonight, we got to find a way to do damage on it. That doesn't have to be a ball over the fence. You just got to find a way
Right.
to get on
Right.
base. He's not going to issue a lot of free passes. He's a nibbler at heart. And there's so much movement on his pitches. It's gross. But yeah, we get the Giants for 3, the Braves after that. This is our last episode of the week. It's almost like getting 2-1 compared to the runtime of our first 2. But Franny, you'll be there next week. This is like routine. This was not a guest star thing. It'll be all 3 of us again next week. 3 episodes again next week. We're also thinking of doing maybe like a fan bag style sort of episode. So again, we appreciate the support and the call outs, but tag us on Twitter, or sorry, on X, on Instagram, wherever,
Twitter.
on Twitter. And yeah, keep calling out. We love the support so much. It's been incredible. And we'll see you in next week's episodes. Peace.